So we'll move our attention back to some of the broader markets here. Jane Gallina is with us, leader of Ticker Tucker, taking a look at a market that's trying to give it a go. Some of the fractional gains that we've been seeing for the major averages, new record high for the Dow. What are your takeaways at this moment as now we've gotten another round of fiscal stimulus?
Thank you, Nicole. Yes, looking at this, we have had this $1.9 trillion stimulus that just passed. And every time that we saw a stimulus bill passed and money went out into the hands of the public, we saw those millennial traders putting it into the market. What's better than seeing that return that we saw over the past year from the bottom in March of 2020 to where we are now, hitting all-time highs? Those millennial traders are definitely helping Reddit in breaking out with GME and BlackBerry and AMC. And so they're looking for that next big move that can go ahead and increase that dollar that they've received into their bank account this week. It started coming in on Saturday and more to come on direct deposits on Wednesday and then those following checks. So looking for that to really help to stimulate the economy and the stock market. However, this week we have FOMC coming up on Wednesday. Always some volatility in the market there. With that stimulus, we might see that we have a bit more inflation coming in. And Janet Yellen has a bit of a different viewpoint from Powell. She started talking about inflation happening back in January. So if she starts to hint at raising interest rates as a potential tool for the Fed in the future, that they'll be able to cut it to stimulate the economy, we might see that we have a bit more of a correction to come into the last 2 weeks of March.
What are the odds of them raising rates or changing their stance over at the Fed?
Well, you know what? I mean, goodness, they have so many tools in their toolbox. They have been printing money like crazy now. So I think there's a chance that we might hear that Yellen is going to say yes. I'm looking to see where we go from here. Personally, I do the grocery shopping. I see that the rates of eggs, milk, bread have all increased over the past year. And that's going to be a direct indication that we are starting to see this inflation happen upon us, as well as oil. I mean, this is now breaking out of a downward trend that we have seen over the past 4 years for the oil market. So when we start to see the commodities rising, that's going to be another indication that, hey, there's also a hedge trade that's happening, but also that inflation is here.
And then when you look at some of the stock picks and names that you like, I mean, I think American Airlines is on your list, and that goes right into the reopening trade. But a name like Wayfair was mostly about people being at home and dressing up their homes. So you like both of these names. Explain the difference between these names.
Definitely. Well, American Airlines, when we look at American, a couple of different reasons why I like this one to continue growth up to the $30 area is because American was contained in that stimulus package, right? They received money to rehire back their employees. And this is the largest airline around the world, as well as the fact that when people are receiving this money, they've all been cooped up, quarantine at home, nobody's going anywhere. They want freedom. They want to be able to travel. And American Airlines, being the largest in the world, is likely going to receive a fair amount of that as far as profits and people buying tickets. When we look at Wayfair, it's also the springtime. We also see a lot of renovation going on at home. We see some homes that are going up for sale, some interior decorating that's happening. And so looking at that, looking for Wayfair to potentially continue to the upside, if we can break up and hold up above 330, I think we'll likely see 350, 360, even potentially up above 400.
And then the last but not least, Peloton. I think it's interesting that you put Peloton on this. So you're thinking that whatever people started to do, like Wayfair, like Peloton, during this pandemic, they'll continue these trends. Tell me about Peloton and where you think this one may go.
Yes. Well, with Peloton, this one comes from more the aspect that people might have been at home during COVID-19. They weren't necessarily able to go to the gym. I know in Canada, our gyms have been closed for the past 6 months, really. And knowing that, hey, people might have gained the COVID-19 pounds and they're looking for a way to eliminate that. Also, this stock is down 70 points off of the top. So it's nicely discounted. And as long as we can hold really that 104 level, this has that potential to grow again. The Peloton arena is definitely one that people are looking at. You know, they've gotten used to living at home, working out at home. The classes online is a great way to get some exercise in.
I think it's interesting when you talk about young people, and there's definitely more accounts that have been opened during COVID. I think a lot of people got very in touch with their money and started to see the market as a way to go. And to your point, they talk about one of the surveys by Invest Yodel, where they say one of the most common uses for the government stimulus checks in nearly every income bracket, even between 35,000 and 75,000, are seeing trading, right? And in fact, that bracket that I just mentioned traded about 90% more than the week prior to the stimulus checks. 90% more. So that means people got their checks and went running to trade it. I can't believe it myself, but that's what they're saying, Jane. All right, we'll leave it there for this round. Thank you very, very much, Jane Gallina, leader, Ticker Tracker. Thank you.